Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Today I will be recording an episode of The Private Citizen about immunity passports, digital immunity passports. And after that I'm going to play some Tarkov with Jonathan to wind down. Hello everybody, wow, it's a lot of people already there. Centurio Pertus, nice to see you there. Saw your shirt picture, lovely. Super user. Actually had the first vaccine today. Hope you don't hate me, bro. As you will learn, I had my first vaccine last week, and I've got a story about that. I don't hate anybody. I think the point I've been trying to make throughout this podcast for over a year now is that I think... thanks for resubbing Mode 7. Sorry, the alerts are off. I already have them off because of podcast shenanigans. I don't hate anybody for having the vaccine. I think it should be a personal decision, and that's exactly my point. That's what we're going to talk about today. The problem with these passports is that they're taking away your personal choice, basically, and that's the thing I complain about that I don't like. Hey Mode 7, how are you doing? Am I feeling okay? Well, I will tell you in just a bit. I'm going to talk about that on the show because I think it's interesting. The short answer is I do now. I didn't last week. Yes, thank you, Centurio. Katie was saying, nice picture, but I was like, look, my shirt's made it to Texas. And she's like, that's a brick wall. That's not necessarily Texas. I'm like, I believe in me. She's like, ask him to take a more Texan picture. Yeah, flagpole sounds good. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Wait. I'm just getting some documentation out of the way here. Let's start the show then. Let's do it. Man, that's a lot of vodka. That's actually water. With this vaccine, one of the side effects was stomach ache and shit, and my stomach is still not completely recovered, so I'm laying off the alcohol. I tried yesterday, and that didn't go well. Also, it's 33 degrees here right now. It's probably a bit warmer inside here. UK have said today that vaccination will be mandatory for staff working in care homes unless they have a valid medical reason not to have it. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's complete bullshit, obviously, because the only thing a vaccine does is protect yourself. This whole myth that you're actually protecting other people is completely not borne out by the science, as people like to say. But okay, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Craziness. I think somebody should start a religion where you're it's against my religion to get a vaccine. That'll just twist their brains in a knot. Because just imagine some religion, let's say Judaism, had something against taking vaccines. It wouldn't be mandatory then, would it? Dudism. Yeah, no, it's got to be something. It's got to be more like I want to say a serious religion. This has to look like a religion. It needs big houses and gold everywhere and people in long robes and shit like that. Something. Yeah, Jedi, that would work with the robes, but I think we need something more old school. I don't know. Yeah, Scientology would work. Problem in Germany would be that they're not recognized as a church here. Which is always a problem. Flat eartherism. Yeah, somebody needs to start something like this. Anyway, let's see if this whole shebang I've built for myself here works to record some podcast shows. That looks like it's working. That also looks like it's working. Let's rewind the tape. Okay, I love that I have to do that. That's actually. That's probably Voice Meter's best feature. Let's see if this works. To record some podcast shows. That looks like it's working. That also looks like it's working. They fucking shouldn't be recognized as a church. See, I see all religion. I think it's all ridiculous. I don't think that Scientology is inherently more ridiculous than, say, the Catholic Church. The only reason they're not recognized is like the German state wants them to pay taxes. Right? I don't. You know. I mean, it's like the thing like people think about when they think about religion is just like, you know, okay, this is okay and this is ridiculous. And I'm like, well, this is just okay because you've gotten used to it over the last 500 years or 1,000 years. I mean, have you seen the shit? We're drinking some wine and pretending it's blood. Like we're putting this really weird piece of bread on our tongue and then we like what? Like we're singing like ridiculous like chants. I mean, come on. Religions all have a specific level of fiction. Yeah, it's just like, yeah. I feel like the old ones get a pass because they've been around for so long. And back in the day, people just don't think so critically about it. I mean, the whole Scientology backstory obviously is ridiculously bullshit. But like, so is Mormonism or like the Bible. Anyway, let's not get too deep into religion. So as he said, I'll keep the wine, you take the wine. Problem is, it's really shit wine. You wouldn't even want the wine. Vegans are pretty religious and global warming people are too. I think, I wouldn't say it's specifically religious. It sometimes goes into the... Yeah, it goes into the same kind of direction of thinking, right? What you would call dogma. It's like a dogmatic thing. It's like global. It's like almost in the press sometimes. Like global warming was created by man, and we have to all buy electric cars to solve it. It's like this is like a chant almost. Anyway, let's get this going. As you know, I enjoy you all being there. Please comment on things. I will read it just so you're aware. I will not interact as much as I normally do. Once we're done with this and I'm editing this, everything will go back to normal. I'll turn the alerts back on. And then when I'm playing some Tarkov, of course, I'll engage normally. But let's get this show on the road. Let's do this. Let's see if I can actually get this done. Here we go. That is recording. That is good. Let's start. You're listening to The Private Citizen, your podcast talking about privacy and civil rights. This is episode 74 for Wednesday, the 16th of June, 2021. Immunity passports are here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Private Citizen. My name is Fab. I'm your host for tonight. I come to you live from the city of Düsseldorf, where it's very warm. And everybody's like, oh my god, global warming, the world's ending. And I'm like, what do you say? It's warm in June? What? that's news now. It's warm in summer. We're gonna die because of that. Okay, whatever. I really like it. Some neighbors here, they put like some they have some aircon hose coming out of the window. And like, what the hell? It's 33 degrees, man. Man up. That's not the time for aircon, you know. In Australia, they start with this shit at like 40 degrees at, max. I mean, at the bare minimum. Some people can set much more. Aircons. Jesus, I'm in a closed room with a huge gaming computer. Anyway, welcome to the show. Nice to have you. Today, we're going to be talking about immunity passports. Again, I have to say, believe me, I did not want to. I called this like last year, And it was obvious that it would go this way. I don't like it, but I kind of have to report on what's happening. So in Germany now we have a digital immunity passport, which is down to some EU legislation that, I've talked about this when it was coming in, but let's talk about it again. Let's quickly recap why immunity passports are bad. And I also, of course, going to quickly explain how the system works for people who are worried if they can use it. We got lively Twitch chat today. I'm, of course, streaming this live on Twitch as always. People betting on how much takes I will need to get the intro right. First take this time. But before we get into this immunity passport stuff, I would like to give you a little update. I put out last week's episode on Monday because I was scheduled to get a vaccine shot on Tuesday. And I was thinking, because people have told me, you could read on the internet, when you're young, you probably, I was getting the AstraZeneca vaccine, you're probably going to get some hefty side effects, and just be prepared to be out of commission for a day. So I was like, okay, let's record the podcast early. It's glad I did that, because I wasn't out of commission for a day. I was pretty much out of commission for 3 days. So I got the shot at noon on Tuesday. I was feeling fine pretty much all day. In the evening, I was starting to feel like I was getting a heavy cold, and it got worse and worse. I went to bed early. I woke up next morning. I felt horrible. So basically, so far I've had all the symptoms I think that were mentioned on that paper I signed, except the blood clots. I'm, knock on wood, hopefully not getting those. But I had fever. Then the fever went away. Then I was feeling hot. It wasn't really a fever, but I was feeling hot. I was feeling cold. I had bone aches, muscle aches, and that was like systemic throughout the whole body. Of course, my arm hurt pretty much like 5 days. That's normal. You have that with lots of vaccinations. Just the point where they inject it, feeling tender. But I had actually heavy muscle. It wasn't only feeling tender. The muscle was impacted. Like I couldn't do sports until like 2 days ago. Like my normal kickboxing training couldn't do that. So also I had that. I had a grisly headache, not like my normal headache, where it's kind of like in the front or whatever I get when I have the cold. I got bad headache. I had some weird rash. It very definitely was like a kind of a allergic reaction to something. I'm not guessing to the vaccine itself. It's probably something in the delivery process or whatever's in there. I have no idea. It was bad. I've gotten quite a few vaccines in my life. When I went to live in Australia for a year in 2000, I had to get a lot, including Ross River fever. I didn't even know what that was at the time, before that. I always have some side effects. It's like any medication, which I don't really worry about. But this was hefty. I'm fine. I'm good now. But it was very, very, very uncomfortable. I felt 2 days like I had a very, very, very bad, cold infection, not influenza. I had that once. That was much worse. But I was laid out. Actually, on the second day, my mate Jonathan was like, "Oh, since you're out, can we just play some games or something?" And I was like, "No, I can't." And he's like, "You must be really, really sick if you can't even play video games." And I couldn't. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. Mostly because of the headache, but also about muscle and bone pain all through the body. So I basically just sat on the couch or lay in bed for 2 days, watching Twitch nonstop, watching lots of Deadly Slop, shooting people in the face in Tarkov. So I'm, I don't know why my reaction was that bad. It's probably because I'm relatively young. I'm 37. They generally don't really recommend that vaccine to people under 60. But I said, yeah, what the fuck? So I have this lingering suspicion now that I might have had COVID not COVID, but a SARS-CoV-2 infection last year. Because I wasn't sick with flu symptoms or anything. I wasn't really sick I haven't been sick for 2 years because I'm now freelancing. I'm working from home. I'm not commuting. I don't meet many people. So, and the whole pandemic stuff with the mask, whatever, probably affected this too. So I wasn't sick. But last summer, when Katie and me were on camping holiday, I got really sick for a few days and then was basically sick for 2 weeks. But I didn't have any flu symptoms. I just had intestinal, I was feeling sick and actually, I also vomited briefly. It's just on Wednesday as another thing. But I just had gastrointestinal issues for like almost 2 weeks. And I thought it was a severe case of food poisoning. I thought I'd eaten some meat and got myself some salmonella, which I've also done before. And it was basically the same symptoms. But apparently there is some rare cases where people get SARS-CoV-2 and only have gastrointestinal issues. Funnily, Katie and me were very close together for like a week at that time, and she didn't get anything. So I don't know. But that might explain the heavy side effects, because apparently if you've been already, if you've been exposed, your likelihood to get side effects from the vaccine is much bigger because your immune system reacts much more. The side effects are basically your immune system panicking, right? It's not anything from the vaccine. It's just it's just whatever your immune system does. I do have allergies, so there's some autoimmune issues involved. So that might be a factor as well. I don't know. I don't want to scare anybody. It wasn't really bad, so far nothing serious has happened. I just thought, generally I think that something like taking a vaccine or like your personal health is a very private matter. But I'm a journalist, and we've been talking about, we're talking about this today, vaccines and stuff. So I thought transparency would be a good thing in this case. Ezekiel in Twitch chat says, sounds about the same as me. Yeah, those are all in the very common categories, unfortunately, according to the sheet I was given. If it's any consolation. Yeah, they are, but like I've actually called my doctor on Monday, because they were like, if you get any side effects, especially, a lot of them, please let us know. And there are, but usually most people just get one or two. Like most people just get a headache, or most people get a fever, or a lot of people get a fever. Most people get like hot, cold flushes and a headache. But like actually that you get everything that's on that sheet is not that. And especially being like laid out for 2 days, or probably 2.5, if you count like Tuesday evening. And I wasn't totally up on like it took like Saturday. Saturday was the first day where I was basically feeling normal again. So that wasn't normal. But I usually I don't know. My body reacts relatively severely to viral colds as well. So I'm not talking influenza. I'm talking just like just normal viral infections. So maybe that's part of it. Is to can't look at screens when I have a headache. I sometimes have that kind of headache, but it wasn't that kind of headache. It was just like a low level but very uncomfortable one. I couldn't concentrate. So I could watch like Deadly Slop all day, but I just couldn't write. I tried playing video games. I was like, no, I can't really think. It's cause you upset Bill Gates. Well, yes, I've seriously been not a friend of Bill Gates, and on the record ever since like probably the first episode of Linz Outlaws in 2007. So that might be part of it. Yes. For the conspiracy theory. Anyway, I just wanted to update everybody. That's how it went for me. It was not very, very, very nice. If anybody from AstraZeneca wants to check, my vaccine was lot 210004. If that helps, just check what shit you put in there. So I'm gonna get a second shot in August. End of August, but it's probably not as bad. With AstraZeneca, it's always reported by a lot of people that only the first shot has a side effect, really. My wife got got the Pfizer BioNTech thing much earlier, and she didn't have as severe side effects. She had hers after the second shot though. She had basically a day where she was like having hot and cold flushes and a little bit of a temperature and stayed in bed. But maybe it's also because I'm a man, because maybe I just had vaccine man flu, right? That it could totally be the case. Anyway, now that I do have a vaccine passport, I actually got one of the new ones. Once with the first time we talked about this in September, episode 38, I put a picture of my old Impfbuch in the show notes, and I brought that to the doctor, but they didn't want to. They were like, we'd rather better give you a new one if you're in the if you're trying to cross the border. Then they probably will only recognize that. So I got a new one. Now I get pictures in the show notes, just for interest. And in case people are wondering why I got this, I'm generally not against vaccines. I mean, I'm married to a cell biologist. If I was afraid of vaccines, that would be a bit weird. I do travel. I like to travel. I think it's one of my favorite things. And I thought, it's not going to be bad. I'm kind of asking myself if actually having gotten, if I didn't get it, if I wasn't infected, I'm maybe thinking last year, if I actually had got SARS-CoV-2, if that would have been worse. The side effects were as bad as the worst viral infection I ever had. The only thing I ever had in that direction, which was worse, was influenza. That was worse. That was seriously worse. But who knows? Who knows if this would have hit me that hard? I was kind of regretting it. Like on day 3, I was kind of like, why did I do this? Why didn't I just fucking, I don't know. Yeah. But what's done is done. Centuria Purchase says, I got Pfizer and both times I got a sore arm, same side effects as they would have injected sterile water. Maybe they did. Yeah. Down in Texas, there's y'all will just give them water. It's cheaper. I had that when I was going to Australia. I got my last shot, which was like a combo vaccine. The day before I was flying, and we were flying so I was flying from Düsseldorf to Frankfurt to London Heathrow to LA to Sydney. It's like a 38-hour flight. Just the flying time was 38 hours. Because exchange students who spend a year abroad, back then you could take 2 backpacks over that route, and if you go via Singapore, you could only take one backpack, one suitcase. They gave me this combo shot into my ass cheek, and my right ass cheek, where they injected it, got next day swole up to about twice the size and was hot and throbbing, and I had to sit on that shit for 30 hours in a plane. That wasn't very nice. Anyway, but now that I got one of these new yellow immunity passports, let's talk about the alternative, or something that I could once I get my second shot, or they probably give it to me. I'll get the digital passport, and I wanna talk about those apps, how this whole system works, because I've been asked by several people if this is okay from a privacy perspective, and if you can use it. So let's go into that, and let's first talk about what the system is, where it comes from, and how it works. So I've talked about this back in September, and I've talked about why I think immunity passports are a bad idea. I'm going to go into that at the end in the second segment. I'm going to recap that a little bit and talk about some, what has changed since then, or some new ideas I've had. But basically, this week in Germany we launched these digital immunity certificates, and they are mandated by the European Commission. They have a page on this where they explain all this. Links are obviously in the show notes, privatecitizen.press, where you also find contact details for me. And if you're listening to this and you have some opinions or you have some experience you want to share maybe with the passports or how it works where you are, I know I have listeners from all over the world, the US, Australia, China, Japan, Africa, everywhere, the UK, of course, Germany. But like if you're in a different country and you wanna tell me how it works on your end, or like the fun side effects you've had, please do so. I don't have. I'm going to go into a little bit of feedback at the end of the show. I actually don't have much this week again, but this is not because I'm not getting feedback. I'm getting a lot of like private feedback recently where people are like, I would like to talk to you about this or tell you this, but please don't mention me on the show, which is okay, which I understand because this is a privacy-related podcast, totally understandable. I appreciate such feedback as well, but just to explain that sometimes it just doesn't end up in the show notes because of stuff like that. So if you have something to tell me, please go to privatecitizen.press. And there also, of course, you will find all the links to this EU, to the guidelines and whatever. And in Germany, we have 3 apps now that you can use these certificates with. I've talked about the Corona Warn app a lot. I've talked about the Luca app recently, which is a disaster. And then there's a new app which was made because of our great health minister, Jens Spahn, who wanted a third app. This is called the Cough Pass. The relatively cool thing about that one, I haven't looked at that one, but the idea is just that you can just use that for your digital immunity passport. Of course, and this is on the same level as the paper thing you get, the yellow booklet, also called the Carte Jaune, which you can also use that. You don't have to use the app. Now, why would you want to use an app? There are several reasons. For example, as far as I understand, that certificate you get in the app doesn't tell people where you live. This yellow booklet says so on the front. Also, it has... it might have other vaccinations in there. And if people check for your SARS-CoV-2 vaccine, is what it is. It's not a COVID vaccine, even though it says so. It says so in my passport as well, which is blatantly wrong. But hey, we're going with that. But there could be other vaccinations there, and there could be quite private vaccinations. There are vaccinations against illnesses you might have, or that tell people about your lifestyle. You might be vaccinated against certain diseases that would tell people something about the sex life you're living, for example, and that could be on the same page. And in Germany right now they have the quite disquieting, like you will go somewhere, right? So you want to go. So my wife and me on the weekend went to a spa on Sunday, right? And she could just go in there because she had her immunity passport. I had to have a negative quick test done beforehand, but she showed her passport. And in some of these venues, they just take a picture of that, which they're not allowed to do. But they will still do it. It's never happened. I've been just told this. I avoid these. I try to not. Like this test was actually the first test I had ever done. Like when they were going, oh, you have to have a test to go to the hardware store. I just didn't go into the hardware store, right? I just ordered stuff off Amazon. I just did that because I really love my wife and she's working a lot and she needed a spa day and she wanted to have me there. So I was like, okay, for you, I'm going to do this. But generally, I don't do this. So I don't run in these into these situations much. But I've been told by people that they just take a picture of your passport, your Carte Jaune. If somebody did that to me, I would immediately say, please, okay, you just took a picture of that. I don't think you're allowed to do that. Please hand me your data protection information for the GDPR. Who's responsible? Who's your data protection officer? And then I would send them some paperwork later, and it would probably hurt them quite a lot, because I think you could actually sue them. But obviously I'm not a lawyer, but as far as I can understand it, and this actually the digital passport is supposed to be implemented in a way that you can't save the information. It actually says in the guidance from the EU, basically, I don't think this is technically the law, but the policy documentation, that pertains to the law they made, where they said how this is going to be implemented. It actually says somebody who's checking this information is not allowed to save the information. So they're not allowed to save your name and date of birth and that you've been vaccinated. But people do that, and you don't want to. Maybe you don't want to have them do that with your paper document, or maybe you don't want to show them the other vaccinations that are in there. So that there's a use case for using an app. I personally don't really want that. For some reasons I'm going to get into later, but I think the main reason is very easily explained. I think these passports are bad. I think they shouldn't be used. And I think if we have to use them, if I have to use them, if I want to cross the border, it should be as uncomfortable for me and anybody else coming in contact with this as possible. The reason you'd use the app mostly is for convenience. And I don't want these things to be convenient. Because once they become convenient, people don't think about them anymore. And they don't think about what rights, which of their rights get violated, but which we get to later. But I think there's obviously a use case to use them. What's that? Can't they just scan the microchip that was injected by the vaccine? Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, it's maybe it's not ready. I don't, probably interoperability. I mean, it's 5G, right? It can barely use 4G in Germany right now. You know what actually cracks me up? So I was like, when we were getting into the, we were gonna go to the spa, right? I was like, okay, so I got the document. It just says I got one dose. First of all, I don't know if the people checking that there know enough that they know I'll have to get 2 doses, because with some, with the Janssen vaccine from Johnson & Johnson, you only have to get 1. But what cracks me up, I actually looked this up. So, or it actually didn't have to look that up. I just read the documentation when I was at the doctor, because I had some time. I read the whole documentation it gave me. And it actually says in there that if you get the AstraZeneca vaccine, the first dose gives you a chance of immunity of about, I think it was 69%. And it's, after the second dose, and I think it's like even only 20 days after the second dose, it goes up to like 75. So basically, the second dose just gives you a 6% better defense. So I completely don't understand why I now can't go into places when I just only have 1 dose, right? And the funny thing is that I had the combo documentation for all 3 vaccines, because it's such a chaos in Germany right now that you go there and they tell you like you get AstraZeneca like a day before, and then maybe you get something completely different because they just have some other doses delivered or whatever. So I read all the other stuff, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has, I think, it's a one-shot thing, and it's a 63% chance. So it's a lot worse, and it's actually worse. Right? So you get Johnson & Johnson, you get 1 dose, you get your passport, and then you're ready to go, right? I get 1 shot AstraZeneca. My protection is already better than the guy who got his passport from Johnson & Johnson. Then I have to wait 12 weeks, and then I get a second one. And in those 12 weeks, I don't get like the benefit. Like all of this tells you that this whole system is just idiotic. It's just bureaucracy. Like, it's got nothing to do with, I've talked about this on the show often now, it's got nothing to do with the science behind vaccines, because people are pretending that this is to protect other people, where the vaccine doesn't do that. And it's been proven, and they haven't been able to actually conclusively show the opposite, that you can actually prevent the spread of disease by vaccinating a lot of people, especially with diseases that are as contagious as this. So like it doesn't completely make any sense. Like this whole system we constructed for ourselves, it's just like random rules and people just adhering to rules that somehow kind of work maybe a little bit. It's just like the fucking documentation of the vaccine tells me that I'm now more protected than the other guy who already can go everywhere. Like, what? Does it include the period of immunity? No, they don't. I think I heard the 2 shots is because it makes it more permanent. No, actually, no. So the AstraZeneca vaccine originally, this is the Oxford vaccine. Originally, it was a 1-shot vaccine, but they experimentally gave people more shots. And some of the vaccines, they even give you 3 shots now. And they realized that actually improves your immunity. Because, what the vaccine does is train your immune system to recognize the virus antigens, right? So it makes sense. It's just like completely arbitrary. And then, no, they don't know how long the immunity lasts. I mean, it should. I'm not a biologist, and I don't know that much about immunology. Viruses have just been like a hobby of mine for like decades. So generally with viral infection, it lasts your whole life. So the way this works is your body, when you get the vaccine or you get sick, your body gets exposed to the viral antigens. Then it produces antibodies. And as long as these antibodies are in your bloodstream, like new virus that comes in has no chance. Just like smack, it's dead, right? But these antibodies do not stay there forever. So they're usually for a few months in your bloodstream, maybe 3-4 months. But then you have the blood cells, these white blood cells that are trained. So these antibodies are basically just markers, right? They're just little things in your bloodstream. They're like kind of like laser designators, right? So they're like when the virus comes in and the virus there's the antigen on the virus or on whatever pathogen. Like these antibodies just go next. They just clamp to it and tell your body, hey, this is evil. And then these white blood cells come along and they're trained to detect the antibodies and they eat, they just dispose of whatever is attached to that. So, but if you don't have any antibodies anymore, you can still have white blood cells that are trained to attack these. And then there's other cells that make the antibodies, so they can still make them. And once all of these go away, there's also a mechanism that memory cells, they're like in your bone marrow, I think. And they basically retain information how to reproduce this whole system again. Which takes a while longer. So once you're down to that level of immunity, you'll get the virus and it'll replicate and you won't have antibodies immediately and you won't have these cells trained to kill the virus immediately, but your body can make them in the span of 24 hours, maybe. So for example, with Ebola, some people are, Ebola kills a lot of people, like Marburg viruses kill a lot of people. They're very deadly. But there are some people that are immune. And there's this very famous case of this nun, I think it was in the first outbreak back in Zaire. She got infected and she nearly died and then she recovered. And they got a lot of actually viral immunology research from this case. For the rest of her life, she was always donating blood serum, and they were testing this kind of stuff. And she actually went, once she recovered and once they realized you can't get sick again, she went back and just continued just to help people because she couldn't get sick anymore. And as far as we know, she was immune for the rest of her life. And that's kind of she was infected, but the people treat vaccines as if they're magic, but they're not magic. Basically, what they are is they replicate. They're like a training exercise. They're like war games. They replicate what happens in your body when you get an infection. So they're a way of triggering your immune system to deal with an infection without actually having pathogens that actually harm you. That's basically what a vaccine is. Mode 7 asked, did you see Linus Torvalds' response on the Linux kernel mailing list to an anti-vaxxer? No, I didn't. I thought Linus was supposed to just shut up now and not be or cause any trouble anymore. That's not politically correct. But I guess you can do it if it's anti-vaxxers. See, my problem, I don't like that term because, I come from a family where, my parents historically were relatively skeptical towards vaccinations. And I think that's everybody's right. I don't like this political, we talked about this on the show a lot, like this political, wrong or right, left or right, blue or red, like these, I am of the firm opinion that your health is your concern and your concern alone. Nobody is supposed to tell you what to do. It's your concern. It's a matter that just that should only concern you or possibly your doctor. But then we actually had, I don't know if that's the case anymore. Apparently it isn't because everything's so dangerous now. But it used to be that your health concerned you and you could go to a doctor and then the doctor was actually obliged to never tell anybody about it. They could lose their job. Okay, in some cases, maybe the police, whatever. But generally, if they told that information without your consent, they could lose their job. So I believe that. I believe in people's rights to, if somebody has a reason to be against vaccinations, then that is their prerogative. And I don't understand modern sensibilities in the press and everywhere else where they go, oh, ridiculous anti-vaxxers, they're idiots. It doesn't matter how idiotic that opinion is, it's their opinion. And these people are fucking hypocrites. Because these same people that say, oh, those idiot anti-vaxxers, they don't want to get vaccinated, right? They don't complain about religious people who don't want certain medical procedures done because of religion. Or that, cut pieces of people's penises off for no reason whatsoever. Or in some cases, even women's parts of their vagina for that's that's as ridiculous. Nobody complains about that. It's just, that's religion. Oh, no. That's not politically good. I just fucking hate that. Sorry, you triggered me there. I just don't I object to this vehemently. I think people's health is their business and nobody else's. And if somebody doesn't want to get vaccinated, it's not the state. It's not. It shouldn't concern the state. It shouldn't concern the public. Just shut the fuck up and go home. Just, leave people alone. I think the term is fitting for conspiracy theory folks that just follow the conspiracies blindly. You mean anti-vaxxers? Yeah, but so the pro-vaxxers in the press, for example, they just follow things blindly. Somebody says, oh yeah, we need to vaccinate everybody to protect other people. To protect other people. No, it's not. It's not. You're just following blindly. This is going to be a topic in a bit. I think there's a problem everywhere. I think everybody should. I had this discussion with a very intelligent friend of mine recently on Twitter. I just don't understand where our society has gotten to. Where now, I go outside, and I don't often go outside. I have hay fever right now, really bad hay fever, last summer. And I don't, Mode 7 just redeemed. So everybody, if you're new to Twitch, so obviously I'm streaming this live on Twitch, and I have these channel points that people can do. And they can redeem them. You get them for watching, and then you can redeem them. And then I have fun little challenges for myself, one of which is no swearing. So I won't be able to swear for the next 10 minutes. And if I do, I have to restart the timer. So I'm not going to try to swear. It's just... oh god, no, I lost my trailer. Anyway, I think it should be down to everybody's. It should be everybody's own decision. Oh yeah, I was talking to that friend. Yes, I remember again. And she was like, work colleagues of her had to she was saying like he had to apologize. I'm coughing and was sneezing, whatever. But I'm like, I've tested myself. I'm vaccinated. This is not SARS-CoV-2. I've just got a cold. And she said he had to say this a lot. She's like, why isn't he just staying home? And I was like, what happened to our society that we can, that we've just, that we even suspect people because of they sneeze? Like, it's their health. Is it's nobody's business if I'm vaccinated or not, or if I'm sick. Right, I understand that there's a certain danger from this, but there's a certain danger from every communicable disease. And we've always been okay with just giving people privacy no matter what. Like, we never implemented a law that people who are HIV positive have to tattoo that on their forehead so that all their sexual partners know, right? And I was saying I have hay fever quite badly right now, like last summer. And I go out and I'm coughing and I'm sneezing and I'm being treated like I've got fucking, lepra or something. I have leprosy. Sorry, lepra is the German term. I have leprosy, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm not gonna apologize for sneezing just because I have hay fever and everybody's panicked. I'm thinking let those idiots be panicked. I just think it's this whole situation is doing very, very bad things with our society. And I sent her. I'm gonna play this again because I sent her a video of the drumhead speech from Captain Picard from TNG, where basically Picard is being. It's actually interesting because it also pertains to this whole speech pertains to body autonomy of the body and being sick and health status and whatever, because obviously this is about Picard who's defending somebody on his crew because they are a Romulan, right? And they're being attacked for being a Romulan spy, and then Picard defends them in kind of a trial, where the name of the episode Drumhead comes from. And then he gets attacked by this lawyer woman because he was a Borg and he caused the death of people. So he's but he's recovered, right? He's good now. He's not Locutus anymore. But he's treated with distrust because he was once a Borg, which you could see as kind of a sickness, right? He was infected with that. It wasn't his choice. And then he gives this speech, which I cannot play enough on this show.
There are some words I've known since I was a schoolboy. With the first link, the chain is forged. The first speech censured, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. Those words were uttered by Judge Aaron Satie as wisdom and warning. The first time any man's freedom is trodden on, we're all damaged.
And I paused the timer, just to be fair. What do you mean no swearing? I wasn't swearing. I called these people idiots. That's an insult. And I stand by that. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to talk about all of that in a little bit. When I actually wanted to talk about all of that, when we'll discuss what this means for society as a whole. But let's first talk about how. Okay, so if let's say you want to use this digital certificate, which there are good reasons to do it. I don't think the ease of use one should be one, but I can understand why people want that. I mean, but there are good reasons. So how does that work? So generally, it's a relatively easy system. They just implemented a public key crypto infrastructure, and what you get is basically a QR code, but this QR code just represents a digital certificate. So you have which is signed by somebody. Let's say the doctor who gives you the vaccine. So you'll have a health authority in your country That is kind of like the root CA, and that gives out like certificate signing keys, private keys, public and private keys to, let's say, doctors. And then this certificate obviously has a public key, and that is signed by the private key by the doctor. And that kind of shows everybody that the information contained in this certificate is correct. The information in there is the name of the patient, so your name, your date of birth, what vaccine you've gotten, down to the name and the manufacturer, the date of vaccination, the country where the patient was vaccinated, and also the certificate is listed, so the certificate issuer. In this case, I think it's kind of like the CA certificate. It's like the National Health Authority, probably, of your country. Interestingly, people who got sick and have recovered are supposed to get something like this as well, because otherwise they would have. I mean, I know people personally who got sick very early on and recovered, and they're like the whole family is vaccinated now, and you're just like face palming, like that's like incredibly dumb from any point of view. Like, it's dumb from a scientific point of view, where you're like, okay, that person is immune, the vaccine's not going to do anything. It's dumb from like a logistical perspective, because like we do not have enough of this vaccine, and you just threw a dose away, right? This person didn't need it, and they know, because like one of these people I'm talking about has been actually donating. He donates blood regularly, but ever since the pandemic started, he's just been donating serum, for at least a few months after he was infected, he just donated serum for the antibodies. So there must have a record somewhere that he has antibodies, so that he got sick and recovered. Like, why are they it doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I know why he got vaccinated, right? He just wanted that pass to go where he wants to go again, and of course, Centuria Apertus already brings up a problem with this whole situation. I said fucking. Check the tape. I'm gonna believe you. We had 2 minutes left. I'm gonna reset this counter. I'm gonna redo this. Right. Check the tape. I'm just going to believe you. Centuria brings up a good point. I'm sure doctors will be trained to protect the private key. So they probably have technical infrastructure here. I mean, this is not PGP level, right? So this whole system was designed by Deutsche Telekom and SAP. I kind of believe them that it works. Public-private key crypto isn't rocket science these days. But you have a good point. Interestingly, these certificates cannot be they cannot be revoked, and they never expire. So we don't know what happens once they say, and I'm sure this will happen just for political reasons, that we now need a booster shot every year. I'm sure this will happen. So we don't know what happens then, but they cannot revoke them. The only thing they can do is they can revoke like signing certificates, right? So if they figure out that a doctor has lost theirs or has been signing fraudulent certificates, then they can revoke that. Interestingly, apparently Deutsche Telekom or T-Systems, their subsidiary which implemented this, apparently said they couldn't do the revocation because that would have added significant technical problems. Like more, they had to implement this really quickly, and that would have been much more work, which is true, because if you know anything about public-private key crypto, you know that the revocation is the hard thing to do. And they also said that another problem would have been that would have introduced personal information in the whole process. So right now, of course, there is like personal information. There's the name and that info is in the certificate, but you could really put anything in there, right? That doesn't have to be in there. But once you have revocation, you need like an identity, I guess, of the whole thing. You know, kind of like your if you have like a signing key for PGP that has like an email address attached to it, right? I mean, the information you sign with that doesn't really matter, but you have to. It needs to be identified. I mean, of course, first of all, because you want to, because of how that system works with like distributing the keys, but as also for the revocation. Centuria Press just says, just like your yearly flu shot, you will need yearly SARS-CoV-2 shot. Yeah, but like that shouldn't be the case, because I mean, you need a flu shot because there's many strains, and they mutate, and SARS-CoV-2 hasn't mutated. Well, it has mutated a lot. What I'm saying is, and this is interesting. This was actually the first scientific evidence of this was in the Webasto study that I talked about last year. You know, the first German outbreak, which was in this company called Webasto, which, Drosten was, actually his name was on this paper, you know, the German guy with the podcast, the virologist. They actually analyzed the mutations and analyzed that the virus is specifically not mutating in the in the parts of the genome that produce the proteins that cover the hull. You know, the basically the spike proteins don't mutate, which that's what happens with influenza. The proteins that what these proteins do is they are the virus's way to get into your cell, right? Your cell has like proteins sticking out of it, and they're kind of like puzzle pieces. If you get the right one to like latch onto that, then they let whatever has that sticking to it, let that inside the cell. That's how viruses get into cells. And for SARS-CoV-2, it's this very, very, very specific spike protein that acts with the ACE2 receptor. But like that hasn't changed. And usually that is thought by virologists, and they said so in that Webasto study. They think that's why it's so contagious, because the mechanism it uses, which this spike protein is an integral part of, works very well. And that's why it's so contagious. It gets into cells very easily. Now, if it would mutate and change that, then it would become less contagious. Which it might mutate, but that means the mutation wouldn't be as survivable. And actually, this is where the theory comes from, that this was genetically modified and has some HIV characteristics, because that spike protein looks very much like a certain spike protein that the HIV virus has as well. But anyway, so the influenza virus changes the ways it interacts with cells a lot, which makes it hard to develop vaccines against it, and which is why you don't have lasting immunity. But it also changes its. I would think so. I haven't specifically read anything about this, but I think it would change its contagiousness, and that would very much gel with what we know about influenza. You know, how this different every year, right? How sometimes it's obviously more contagious than in other years. So it's a whole different situation. So I don't think having a booster shot is borne out by the science. But they've been very careful, these vaccine makers and the lawmakers who are talking about this, have been very careful not to address certain points of immunology, specifically these memory cells. Because as long as this virus doesn't change, and as long as the spike protein remains its way of getting into the cells, and we know that this vaccine works in just training the immune system to attack the spike protein, then you would not need a booster shot. I'm not an immunologist, and if I have somebody listening who knows more about this, please, Private Citizen Press, I would love to cover this and talk about this if I'm wrong about this. But just don't tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why. Don't assume I'm dumb. assume I'm I'm quite competent in what I don't know about the immune system. I can find out, and give me some primary links to some studies if there are actually some. But yeah, so anyway, let's get back to this technology. So so they can't be revoked, which is interesting. I don't think using this is a privacy problem. Obviously, if you use something like the Corona Warn app, which is very, very privacy conscious, I don't see a problem. You'd have to check. I don't know if this... so basically, it depends on the app, right? I don't know what this CoughPass app does. Maybe it reports back to the German Health Ministry. But I mean, they know that you're vaccinated anyway. I see the state to me here in Germany isn't so much the problem. I mean, it is the problem, but what I mean by that is, as we say in Germany, der Zug ist abgefahren, the ship has sailed. I talked about this very early in the show last year about probably a year ago now, about the Infektionsschutzgesetz and all of that. Sorry, I need to drink some water. If my voice gets rough, it's not the COVID. It's just the pollen. Fucking Oh. Okay. Right, I just had a minute left. I'll have to reset that counter now. The grass pollen. Right, so, I mean, so it depends on the app. You'd have to check on what that app does. But like in Germany, the state knows, like when they change the Infektionsschutzgesetz, if you get diagnosed for this at a doctor, if you get any kind of lab result, i.e. a PCR test that's positive, if you get vaccinated, they send your information, who you are, where you live, to the Robert Koch Institute. The government centrally knows all of this. So I don't see where this is. So I feel like it's okay to use a government app. I mean, they know all of this stuff already. The important thing is that what you're actually doing is like basically you're loading this certificate into your phone and you're presenting a QR code that other people can scan. And you have to be aware that, what information this contains, i.e. your name. But as far as I can tell, not your address, not like your passport, your paper passport. It says on the outside. But you don't have to show that to people, I think. So just be aware of what that information is. I think Centurio Reporters has a very good observation there. Big Pharma going from lifetime license to the subscription model. They learned from Silicon Valley, and I feel like it's no accident, right? With Billy Gates being involved. I think he infected them with that licensing model. So I don't think technically, like from a technical perspective, this is a problem. I think this is a problem because immunity passports are itself a problem, and I've talked about this on the show before. But I will have to again. There's just no way around this. So I mean, they're here now. We have them now. I think the biggest problem in general with this stuff, be it a paper document or an app, is that this is institutionalized victim blaming and discrimination. I did an episode about this before as well. It was episode 59. Basically, we are going from a society, for better or for worse, we're going from a society where your health was your own concern and maybe your doctors, to one where the state must know and needs to know, and the state will implement measures that discriminate against people who have certain diseases or who are not, in the eyes of the state, protected enough. And this is is done a little bit, I don't want to say shady. It's done subtly, because in Western Europe we had experiences with the Nazis and the stuff they have done in the past. So it is generally considered bad that the state should do this, right? That the state should enforce these measures. So there's a new kind of public-private partnership going on, where the state, when this pandemic started, and I've talked about this from the very beginning of this podcast, the state started instrumentalizing the private sector. So, for example, in Germany, when the government wanted to mandate masks, they couldn't legally do that. They couldn't tell you, okay, if you go on the street, you have to wear a mask. So what they did was they made policy, not even laws, they made policy where they said, okay, if you run a store, and if there are people in your store without masks, we will fine you horrendous amounts of money. So they basically used people running stores to enforce their policy. And that's the same thing we're seeing right now. Throughout this whole thing, and I've talked about this for months, the German government, and I'm sure it's the same, I've heard the same from the UK, right? This is not about Germany. Please chime in, privatecitizen.press, if you have local information. But I see this, it's happening in states in the US, it's happening in Canada, it's happening in the UK, in Australia, New Zealand, in other countries as well. What the state is doing here is like they're saying, okay, and the German government has said this throughout, we will not make vaccinations mandatory for anything. That wouldn't be right. But even directly or indirectly, we're creating a climate where, the local government just goes, hey, concerts are so dangerous. And then people want to still have concerts. And then it's like, okay, if you want to go to a concert, then the guys doing the concert themselves are going, okay, we will check that everybody's vaccinated. And it's the same thing. It's the government, the people in power using private industry to enforce this. Of course, now they're even going further. They're brazenly, the EU is brazenly saying we want this for border controls, right? We want to now, at the border, check your health status, which is something that would have been unheard. Like, people would have been outraged 5 years ago, right? If you said, okay, France, if you want to go from Germany to France now will check your health status. Do you have HIV? Do you have a cold? Right? Do you have syphilis? We want to check. Like, people would have been outraged, and we've now just with a year and a half of just basically making people insane with fear. We've just suddenly made people accept this. And I think pretty much in about 5 years, if people like me and you listening to the show, maybe if you agree with me, like reminding people what's happening here, people have forgotten that it was ever any other way. That's generally how it works. I just with my background as studying lots of Third Reich in university, that is how it worked in Nazi Germany. People, there were incredible curtailing of freedoms that were happening suddenly, and people just get used to it. Like 2 or 3 years later, they couldn't even remember that it was ever any other way. And that is what we're having here. Like with some of the same effects as well, where it's just like, okay, if you're nice, if you're a good citizen and you do this and that, you get some, you get some benefits and stuff like that. It's very disheartening. So I feel like that is that's what I called, and also in an episode I did. This was before no, maybe even after the immunity passports, episode 41, the Great Privacy Reset. This is what that is. It's like a great reset of our morals and our standards and the things we expect, the rights we expect as citizens. And it goes hand in hand with like things that happened before, right? Back when I was doing Linux Outlaws 10 years ago, we were talking about people saying that privacy is dead and privacy doesn't exist anymore going forward. Like lots of people in tech press said that. That's. I thought back then that was dangerous, and now I understand why, because that is now being used as an argument, right? When they're saying, well, you don't have any privacy with this COVID stuff right now, but privacy was dead anyway as soon as we invented the internet. No, I mean, privacy is an expectation. I don't even think I always objected to people saying it's a human right. I don't think it is. It's just like something you have to fight for. It's an expectation you have towards your state, right? You're a citizen in a state. This is the rule of law. We're a democracy, and I'm paying taxes, and I have certain expectations. I have certain freedoms I want because I'm not hurting anybody, and that is the crux here. Like, especially when we're talking immunity passports, a listener pointed out in a previous episode where I talked about this, that like when you're thinking about it from a security standpoint, this whole idea is ludicrous. Oh, I can swear again. This fucking idea is fucking ludicrous. Thought up by a bunch of cunts. So if you're going like, okay, we're a country. Say we're Germany, and we're saying we're closing our borders to everybody who's not vaccinated. What are you actually protecting against? The vaccination being a protection for somebody who's vaccinated, right? So if you go, okay, we as a country, and Germany's doing that, we're vaccinating everybody we can, right? And if you're then at a point where like, okay, we're now safe, or like everybody who wanted to is vaccinated, like why prevent anybody from going inside the country? Because if you've given all your citizens that want to the ability to be vaccinated, and the rest has said, okay, we're going to take our chances, then why do you care? Right? Why do you care if somebody comes in and spreads the disease? Because the vaccinated people are vaccinated. Yeah, and then the people come, yeah, well, we care because some people might die. Yes, of course, some people will die. You let somebody in the country, somebody will die. I mean, you let somebody in there drive too fast on the motorway, they kill somebody. I don't know. That's yes. Also, no, we need to protect our ICU bed, whatever. Like, you had a year and a half to ramp up the fucking ICU beds. Nobody did anything. Right? If anything, there's less ICU beds in Germany now than there was a year ago. So, I mean, what's your argument here? I don't get it. Like, this whole thing is it's dumb. But like, I feel very much so. I was thinking about this today while I was putting this show together, and I feel like going forward, this is the trend. The people in power, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter which political party is running things. Politicians, it doesn't matter where they come from. When they're in power, they want more power. I mean, it just goes back to Machiavelli, and it hasn't changed. So they will take more and more rights from us going forward. And it doesn't even have to do anything with viruses or pandemics. I see this all across the board. There are, like, if I think back, I'm 37 now. If I think back through my life, there's only been freedoms that were taken away from me. I've never in these whole, and somebody who's older can probably look back at 50, 60, 70 years and can tell you the same thing. In Germany, and I think in many other countries, it's the same thing. In this whole time, there hasn't been like, oh, the state going, oh, well, you've got more rights now. You can do something that you couldn't do. It's always like things that used to be common occurrences are suddenly dangerous, and then they get taken away from you. Right? Oh, no, you can't drive without a seatbelt. Oh, you can't drive that fast. Oh, no, you're not allowed to, like, have a barbecue with gas because gas is dangerous. No matter, like, people have been doing that for 40 years. Nothing ever happened, right? It goes down to like, I look outside the window. There's like in this little, I live in this building complex. They're building new flats, hundreds of new flats. And so now when they do that, they build like a little kindergarten, which makes sense. And I see like the kids run back and forth. It was the same in Hamburg. And I see like these kids, like they're all like in fucking like high-vis vests, and now they all have to hold each other's hands, like in case like one kid gets lost or whatever. Like it's so ridiculous, right? Back in the day, I had a 8-kilometer way to school. That, as soon as I was old enough, I was like riding on a bike, like through traffic and everything. Like parents these days would be like they, to think that my parents, when I was like 10, gave me a key and said, okay, we're working, you're gonna go to school, and then after school you drive to, you go from school to grandma, and then you stay there till 4 o'clock, and then you come from grandma, you come home, and then we'll be home too. Right, and I was like doing like 14-kilometer loop that day, like on my bike through traffic and everything, alone. Like people today would be like, "Oh my God, my kid's gone, and now we can't do this." And it's like in every field, they just take shit away. They never give it back. And I see this just coming, and it's just like I can't. And I think it's too late. It's too late to fight this. I will continue to fight this because I don't know, and I'll continue to do this show and talk about this because I don't know what else to do. But I feel it's too late. I feel like the majority of people have accepted this, and I don't even know if actually the majority of the people have expected this. I suspect it's not the case. In Germany, it's probably the same wherever you are. I think it's just the people who have accepted this are louder, and they're the ones shaping public opinion. They're making the news, they're talking in public and in the media. And the people who've not accepted this, they just get branded like they're not heard. They live somewhere in the country, or they get like branded, anti-vaxxers or whatever, or crazy conspiracy theorists. But that doesn't matter because, public opinion is shaped by those who shape public opinion. And for them, apparently this is okay. And after the pandemic, I guarantee you it's going to be global warming again. And then they're going to say it's too hot in June, and now you can't drive your car in the summer or whatever. Right? Some of these measures aren't dumb. I'm not saying like seatbelts are dumb. Right? I'm just saying seatbelts are a good example, right? But so if I drive a car and I'm alone in my car and I'm not wearing seatbelt, right? What does the state care? Like if I plow into another car and kill myself when the seatbelt would have saved my life, like who the fuck cares? It's my fucking life. It's not like I'm not endangering the guy I'm running into by not wearing a seatbelt, right? It's just like, it's just the safety culture. I don't get it. But I think that's the way it's going. And it'll not be rolled back, I think. I think one of the big problems, and I talked about this on the show a lot as well, is I feel like people don't take the time to understand things anymore. They just like listen to something, they get an opinion, they run with that opinion. But they just listen to the radio keeps telling them, oh, it's man-made global warming, and they just stop believing it. And then they just go evangelizing everybody about man-made global warming, even though they've never ever looked into the science that was quoted, science in air quotes. That's a problem. But it's understandable if you're just a normal person going through your day-to-day life, right? You just want to, you have to go to work, you have to make money, put food on the table. I understand that. Everybody, your private life, you have limited time. The problem is that journalists and the people on TV are doing the exact same thing, right? They're not taking the time to understand anything, They just run with something. Just go, oh, you're an expert. Tell me something. And the expert goes, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So in my field, let's not talk about global warming. In my field, I was was an expert on TV many times, IT security, and I was the lone guy in the room. Everybody else was like, okay, so we had a hacker attack. Whose fault is it? And then you're an expert. Okay, the expert says, that's the Russians. Right? It's the Russians. Let's run with that. Right? It's not the fact that Windows is horribly unsecure, that people don't know how to use a fucking computer. No, it's the Russians. It's the, where's this?
Goddamn Ruskies!
It's always the Ruskies. Right? It's that's the problem. That's the disease. But I know enough about how the media works that that's not going to go away. So I don't... Yeah, Mode 7 has a good point. We talked about this many times as well. One problem is that many people are not having reasonable conversations. Bias enters the room before reason can get in. Yeah, it's like... yeah, we talked about this a lot, about politics and left and right and progressive and conservative. And I talked about this with Mike a lot when I said I'm conservative, and he's like, I don't think you're actually conservative. And then I'm like, no, I think I'm actually conservative. I don't think what people today consider to be conservative is not a conservative. But I've become, over the last few months, I found this country singer from Texas, actually, called Cody Jinks. An amazing guy. Used to be in a metal band, has like a long beard. Amazing dude, tattooed. So he has great lyrics, and he has this one song where he sings, I don't care what's left or right. I'm just out here with the rest, or something like this. And it's so true. Like, I'm not one of these, I don't care what the New York Times says, or what, I don't know, Breitbart, or what trumps me. I don't care. Like, we're not, anybody who's thinking is neither of those positions. We're just somewhere in the middle. Or as Leonard Cohen sang several decades ago, I'm neither left nor right. I'll just stay home tonight. That's been my approach for a lot of the time of being alive. It's just, these terms are just a problem. I think Mode 7 is completely right about this. It's like we're just putting people in little, in boxes, or in rooms, and then in teams. You're either Team Biden or you're Team Trump. No, I'm neither. They're both rich assholes. I'm not on Team Rich Asshole. Right? I'm on team paying too much taxes, getting screwed over by the rich assholes. And it's just like it's the same. It's the same thing with this. There's no team more freedom for you and me. There just isn't in politics. That's the problem. And I'm as I was planning this episode, I was thinking about it today, got really saddened by this and almost depressive, because not that I'm not the depressive type. I just get angry mostly, but I got really disheartened, because that I feel like this is what's happening. It's we're going, you look back on your life and you're thinking, when was there ever a time when things got better from the perspective of, hey, you're now allowed to do more shit? Not in a modern society like ours. So I'm currently rewatching Der letzte Bulle, which is a great German TV show. It's my favorite German TV show. It's just a funny comedy show about a cop from, homicide cop from my neck of the woods here in the rural area. It's actually from Essen, who gets shot in the head in the 80s. And then is in a coma for 20 years. And he wakes up in 2009 or whatever. And he's just wearing cowboy boots, Hawaiian shirts, and he's just smoking inside. And basically the show takes its charm from him going what happened to men? Why are men not men anymore? What the fuck? Did I miss something? Do you not have to wear a helmet when you're riding a bicycle? And everybody else is yeah, actually you have to. And he's you're kidding me with this shit. Or he's recently watched an episode where he's solving a murder at a campsite, a camping spot. spot, right? And he's there at like in the evening, comes back to the crime scene to just figure something out. And then there's the woman there who runs like a little snack, imbiss kind of French fry shop thing. And he's like, oh, I really need a beer right now. And she's like, no, I'm not allowed to give out like alcohol after 9 o'clock at night. He goes like, you guys, you're building your prison yourself, aren't you? This is all your fault. And it's so true. And now rewatching it, this show is on so many levels, drives this point home. Not only on the level where it's meant to, where you like they're contrasting 2009 with 1989, right, in the show. But to me, watching it now in 2021, there's another level where like they're allowed to do shit in 2009 that today you'd be like, whoa, what? I don't remember a specific point right now, but it was like it occurred to me several times like, wow, things have really changed since 2009. Like there was a point when they were talking about privacy on the internet or something. I feel like, and it was like, whoa. It's like reverse Life on Mars. Yeah, I've talked about the show a lot, and people have mentioned Life on Mars. I've never seen that. It's a German TV show, so it's totally possible that they've just stole the idea. It's amusing to watch shows even from 2000 that would never be made today. That is so true. But like it's a great show because I get nostalgia for like my hometown when I watch it. It's I don't know. I think it's been dubbed, but I don't think it's really good in English. You'd have to speak German. But if you do watch Der letzte Bulle, it's so great. I just watched an episode the other day where they're like in the steelworks. And it's it's the steelworks in Rheinhausen. It's basically around the corner from where I was born. I know that steelworks. It's like my old stomping grounds. Anyway, yeah. So it's like I get a little bit sad because I feel like that's where it's going. But I feel like you're listening to this. You're probably a little bit in my camp here, and I won't shut up about this as long as I'm alive. I'm already an old curmudgeonly guy who people think actually there's another Cody Jinks song. It starts basically with what's he singing? Like it's been hard living with a young man's brain in an old man's a young man's brain with an old man's heart and a restless soul. It's basically also me. So I'm I won't shut up about this. I don't have any illusions that this will have any positive impact. But hey, what else can we do? I don't know. If somebody has an idea, Private Citizen Press, please get in contact. And oh man, sorry, allergies. My voice is. My voice is running away. This is the point where I should drink a whiskey, but for reasons I mentioned before, I'm trying to lay off that. So let's see if my voice can make it through the rest of the show. Let's do the feedback section here. Yeah, so actually there's not much feedback, but that's kind of okay because we made up for it today. My viewers on Twitch have been very, very engaged, and we had a lot of live feedback on this, which I think is great. I just want to highlight some stuff that has happened. The show has a Matrix room, and we had a very interesting discussion about swearing in different languages there. That was pretty cool. Nothing specifically to do with the show, except I wasn't allowed to swear this episode, so maybe it fits again. And then also on the Discord, I mentioned before, we're having this discussion about email privacy, which I'm going to make a topic in a forthcoming show, and that discussion is still going strong. So that's pretty cool. And I also want to give a shout out to Steve, who sent me a picture of his. I was mentioning that the Private Citizen shirt was on its way, and he sent me a picture of it, and it looks pretty dope on him. It's pretty cool. It's pretty poggers, man. thanks again for supporting me so much. That's like the special $30 executive producer tier on Patreon, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, so if you can't make it to these live on Twitch, or if you don't want to, if you love listening to podcasts, totally understandable. You can give me feedback after the fact. All the links are in the show notes on privatecitizen.press. And with that, let's thank a few people, and then let's get the hell out of here. So, as I say every episode, this is produced under the value for value model as pioneered by John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry on the No Agenda Show, which basically means you get the podcast for free. And consider if this is value to you. I don't know if this particular show was... I mean, I did explain a little bit how these systems work, but if you listen to this and you're like, I don't have any value from Fab, just being depressed about how the world is, then fair play. But if you get something, if it's entertainment value or whatever, the occasional rant, please consider how much that's worth to you. And if it is worth some and you want to give something back, then you can do that. You can subscribe to Patreon, which is like a monthly thing, and that's why I like it a lot, because it's a bit dependable for me. I mean, I'm just trying to survive here as a freelance journalist. Believe me, I'm not making a lot of money here. So you can do that, or you can also send me a one-off contribution via PayPal. The email address for that is producers@fab.industries. Producers@fab.industries. We can be depressed together, says Centurio Purchase, who is Steve with the shirt. We're both, if he's wearing his shirt right now, I'm also wearing the shirt. So we're brothers in shirts or whatever. So or if there's any other way you want to support me, please just get in contact. We'll figure something out. I actually had a surprise. I had a surprise waiting for me when I opened Steam the other day. The Remora gave me a free copy of the game Contraption Maker, which is pretty cool. And basically the message just said, thanks for doing all of these podcasts for decades. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy about that. It's pretty cool. Maybe I should keep my Steam wish list up to date or something if some more people want to do something like that. That's something I appreciate a lot as well, because I play video games in my free time. That's basically the only thing I do as a hobby. Aside from just writing, doing podcasts and stuff, I just play a lot of video games. Sometimes on Twitch, I stream this live, which you can then also see. So that's pretty cool. So thanking everybody who saw some value in the show and have made this episode possible. So thanks a lot to Georges, Steve Hose, Butterbeans, Jonathan M. Heathy, Michael Mullen Jensen, Dave, Vlad, Jackie Plage, 1I11G, Philipp Klostermann, Jaroslav Lichtblau, Michael Small, IKN, Kai Sears, Fadi Mansour, Bennett Piata, Joe Poser, Dirk Didi, Larry Glock, Tobias, David Potter, Matt Jellerman, Mika, Martin, Mode 7, Sandman616, Dave Umrish, Mr. Amish, Avis, Drive Zero, Ricky M, Barry Williams, Jonathan Edwards, Rizal, Rodane the Insane, Captain Egghead, Cam, D, RJ Tracy, No Reply, Ewan, Robert Forster, Super User, and Rick Bragg. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate your support a lot. And then I also have to mention all the Twitch subscribers, because, as I said, I stream these live on Twitch. I also play video games. And if you enjoy that, you can subscribe on Twitch, which gives me a little bit of money each month. Also, if you have a Amazon Prime account, you can do that for free to one channel. I have to renew it every month, but if you do so, I get the same money, so I'm happy. So thanks to Mike the Dane, Flash Gordo, Acarontas 7 or VII, I don't know, Redeemer F, Galtaran, Centurio Purchase, Harry Vatana, Bacon the Pork, Brigadier Sir Nils Olaf, Indie Gamiacs, Nomt771, Mod 7 is unavailable, and Sandman616. And quite a lot of these are actually also supporting the podcast via Patreon, so that's pretty cool. So double whammy, and it helps me a lot. Another drink of water here to oil my vocal cords. It's so weird. It's actually, the allergies are quite okay right now, but it's just like it just impacts my voice. And I also don't know how much of that's in my head and how much of you actually hear. But anyway, I also have to thank Bytemark, who provide the servers that host the audio files. So my bandwidth for this show, which is very important. I couldn't do it without them. So they've been doing this for free for quite a while. Bytemark.co.uk, cloud hoster from the UK, amazing company. I'm indebted to them, and thank them very much. And with that, I'm going to sign off. The theme song for the show is called Acoustic Roots by Raoul Kabazali. And I'm going to play us out with another song called The Bayou by Tiger Blood Jewel, which I enjoy a lot. I'll see you next week. There won't be any vaccine-related issues to delay that episode, I hope. Until then, let's keep tilting at windmills together here. I mean, we can't change things, but we can at least complain. I'm good at that. See you next week. Oops, we don't want that. We don't want that. Yeah, nice tune. I thought so too. I like how it's like they got some like vinyl effect at the end there. It's pretty cool. Rightio. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take a quick break. Well, quick. I'm gonna take a break. I need to freshen up a little bit, and then I'm gonna edit the show live on air. And after that, we're gonna do some Tarkovs with Jonathan. So if you ever wanted to see what happens after I finish the show, prepping, uploading it, you can in a bit. Actually, maybe I wanna stay with this version of the Danish national anthem. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on this playlist, I think. And we're gonna go to a quick break scene for a little bit, and then I'll I'll be back in just a bit. Thanks for watching so far. I hope you stick with us for the rest of the evening. If not, have a nice time, and see you next week. I guess I don't know when. I still don't have a streaming schedule. It's all out of the whack. I'm sorry about that. There's Jonathan sitting there waiting for the Tarkos. Jonathan, I need to edit this podcast first, but it'll go quickly, I have a feeling. Okay, going to a break. I'll be back in a little bit here. And don't complain, Jonathan. I'm playing your national anthem just for you.
Chaplin, all the way from north to south. It's been a long time coming. Take it to the streets. Hit control, delete. Take it to the streets. Hit control, delete. Take it to the streets. Hit control, delete. Take it to the streets. Hit control, delete.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Oh, I got a little girl who's been waiting. Promised that she'd marry me. Mr. Can we leave the sea? I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my fare. Gotta get this train down to the station. My little girl waiting for me there. Well, the night is dark and Lord, it's cloudy. I've been traveling that lonesome road. My one true love waiting there to see. Won't that low train carry me back? Yeah, they left Columbus around 7. Oh, Lord, they hit Louisville about 9. That poor boy's heart started overheating, sending all of his love on down. For the night is dark and Lord is quiet.
Hey, I'm back. The first thing we need to do is we need to check something. Something's broken with this break screen. I've got like 300... wait, I should turn the music back on. I have like 300 images in there. It just keeps showing like, I don't know, very few. So just go back to that because I'm gonna try to live fix this. I'll be right back. Oh, that was wrong.
Waiting there to see. Will that long old train come back? For the night is dark and the sky is cloudy. carry me home. Oh. Man, I always had stories about the city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. 'Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race, what's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond.
Okay, I don't know if that's fixed it. I'll have to keep an eye on it. I wonder if there's too many images in that folder. I'll probably have to try to troubleshoot that off camera or something. Right, let's get this podcast edited here. There's all these pictures are in there. It's never shown any of these. It's the new hot Witcher 2 bullshit in there. Like that. We want more of that. Anyway. Right. Let's edit this podcast. Okay, I'm back. Check your Discord. Wait, I don't know if there's any information on there. I need to. Oh yeah. I'll show that to the wife. Wait, can I show that on stream? Are you okay with that? I wanted to ask you beforehand, before I do that. If you say yes, I'll go to that tab. Anyway, let's do this first. We're playing the wrong song here at the end. Yes. So that is. Yep, it even has a Texas on the number plate. I'm gonna. Yeah. It's you even have a Lone Star flag. That is perfect, man. It's great. Is that your flagpole? That is a fucking flagpole and a half. It's pretty good. Lovely. I'm going to show the wife. I was talking to her in the break. He's like, I'm keeping your listeners entertained. I mean, sure you do. Keep the honeydew list going. Not only for me, but also for the listeners and the viewers. Anyway, let's fix this crap. Cut it off right there. Bam. And then we don't need any of that. Until then, see you next week. Righty-ho. Righty-ho. Thanks for the support again, Centurio. I appreciate it a lot. It's pretty cool. Almost the coolest thing is like having that shirt running around in Texas now. It's pretty awesome. We're actually planning. So my dad and me are doing motorbike tours every year. We wanted to go to the Nord Cup this year, but we're like, with the restrictions and everything, it's even if it works, it'll be just like on chance. So we're gonna do France this year, which is gonna be a bit easier. Go down to the Mediterranean and do Nice and shit like that, which would be nice. Not as adventuring as the Nord Cup, but hey, at least it's something. And then we are planning to do the Nord Cup next year. And we did second shirt. Yes, I get onto that. I know about it. I will do it. Anyway, so we were like, okay, so then next year we're going to do the Nord Cup. And then in 2 years, our current plan is to go to the US. I was like, let's rent some big-ass Harley baggers And I actually said I want to do the southern states, and we looked at stuff, and we were like, actually, so we might just do Texas. We might just go straight across Texas, and then I don't know, to Vegas, or even to LA or whatever. But we definitely want to do Texas because I find Texas fascinating, and it has so many different like landscapes, and it's so big. So I don't know. Maybe in 2 years, I'll be driving past. Wouldn't that be something? It'd actually be really cool. I hope we can get that sorted. Hope in 2 years things will be back to normal enough that we can do that. You're listening to The Private Citizen, your podcast talking about privacy and civil rights. This is episode 74. You're listening to The Private Citizen, your podcast talking about privacy and civil rights. This is episode 74 for Wednesday, the 16th of June, 2021. Immunity passports are here. Hello everybody, welcome to The Private Citizen.
Hello.
My name is Fab, I'm your host for tonight. Come to you live from the city of Düsseldorf, where it's very warm. And everybody's like, oh my god,
still
global
very
warming,
warm.
the world's ending. And I'm like, what do you say? It's warm in June? What? that's news now. It's warm in summer. Let's go into that, and let's first talk about what the system is. Wait. Didn't want to do that. Okay, let's delete that guy. Come on. How it works. Actually, I don't think I have to do this where I cut this out because there's some breathing there. I don't think you can hear that, but I don't know. Better safe than sorry. And then we want to put a chapter marker here. Works. Babe, we leave the light on. So I've talked about this back in September, and I've talked about why I think I hope we can do that. That would be so amazing. Be fascinating. Be a dream of mine in like on a big Harley. Amazing. The big speaker system, listening to Cody Jinks. Unpredictable amounts of data gathered and aggregated, Fab, heavy breathing. Oh yeah, data gathering. Oh, it's making me so wet. Beach, which I cannot play enough on this show. Mod 7 didn't see that. You should try Sturgis. Oh yeah, I should. Yeah. Wait. Where's that again? I mean, I know the place. Which one are we talking? Which one is it again? Is it, yeah. Okay. It's Sturgis, South Dakota. Yeah. Although that's it's going to be a bit out of our way. No, our plan was actually I don't know. Maybe fly to Houston and then go across Texas, up here, and then through Arizona maybe to Vegas. Or you could even go to Vegas and then to LA. Because, I know I've driven that. I know that part. Pretty cool though. Yeah, I'd love to see Laredo. I'm currently reading Streets of Laredo. That would be cool. But anyway, just going through Texas would be amazing. Right. Mount Rushmore. Yeah, just go see the whole US. just take half a year, man. I'd love to do that. And then he gives this speech, which I cannot play enough on this. Yeah, I'll once it gets closer, I'll write you an email. I'll need some local guidance. I know. I'll talk to you. Play enough on this show.
You know, there
I've always done well with
are some
doing shit like that in the past and just talking to listeners and just getting some local knowledge.
is trodden on. We're all damaged.
And I paused the timer. Just to be fair. What do you mean no swearing? There's just no way around. Come on! Come on, Q point. Again, there's just no way around this. More heavy breathing. Chapter marker. Oh man. Oh yeah, the Alamo. Gotta see the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo. True, the Alamo. Right. Isn't that like after Screaming Firehawk? Didn't Alex want to call the Rosie the Alamo? There's just no way around this. Don't piss on it like Ozzy. Ozzy pissed on the Alamo? So, I mean, they're here now. Yeah. So, Rushmore's in South Dakota, right? So, I mean, they're here now. We have them. I don't think we'll go to Sturgis, though. We're not like the typical bikers where we go to all the biker shit. We like to do our own. Crap. Now, we have them now. I think the... oh, God, fab. What's this?
Goddamn Ruskies!
Yeah, that works. The show. Let's do the feedback section here. Why do these coupons? Why do they do this shit? That's like a bug. Fix this shit, Hindenburg. Yeah, probably don't want the cough in there. Maybe some drugs help. Cocaine. Yeah, for me to go to Rushmore, they must add Trump though. No, a little troll. I'll get a bike when I'm done providing for my kids. It's about 10 years. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of dads who have bikes and then they stop. Right, the wife makes them stop. You can't do this anymore. You got to be responsible. Yeah. And then some pick it up afterwards again. I tell you, I have the best face. It is an amazing face. It needs to go into the mountain. I actually would enjoy that. It would be hilarious. Trump's face in the mountain would be great. That would be just the ultimate troll to history. They should put Trump's little dick on Mount Rushmore. You don't know. Maybe he has a big dick. We need a dick pic first. Be funny if it just be like a penis as big as Lincoln's head. Do the feedback section here. We pick on Mount Rushmore. True. Yeah. So actually, I don't think we need the swallow in there, do we? Yeah, so actually, see, this is editing magic. This is how we do it in this business. And then let's get the hell out of here. Okay, first we need to delete this. Oh, for fuck's sake. Splittity split. Splitty split. And then let's get the hell out of here. Do you know what Harley Davidson excels at? Is this gonna be a dad joke? So, as I converting fuel to noise, that's actually true. I sometimes envy the Harley riders because they just have better accessories so they can make their bike louder. There's actually these amazing things. This is great. This is hilarious that it's not outlawed in Germany. So you have to have like the suppressors in the exhaust, right? And like you go through the German, our MOT, our TÜV checks your bike every 2 years. And that includes like the loudness of the bike. But of course, once they're done with that, you can modify it. So some people would put different exhausts on there. The problem is if you drive past the police car and they go, that bike's awfully loud, and they catch you and they figure out you have different exhausts, you have to pay a fine. Now there are exhausts for Harleys, sadly they don't have them for Gootsies, where you have like an app on the phone and there's engageable suppressors in the exhaust, but you can turn them off. Like there were always some with a button, but now they have Bluetooth. You can turn them on. Can't talk. You can turn them on and off with your phone. It's amazing. So it's like, oh, there's a police car. Let's quickly make my bike less noisy. It's amazing. I mean, there are handlebar switches as well. But I mean, you're riding a big Harley bag, you probably have a docking station for your iPhone on that, right? The people who ride those are just generally like doctors and shit like that. Like that's a typical thing, like a head doctor at a hospital, and then like on the weekend they dress up in leather and then go Harley riding. That's I liked that song, a little banjo sound. Yeah, this is all Epidemic Sound, the bumpers. These are all from Epidemic Sound. Yes, those are the folks that go to Sturgis. So, and my dad and me are not people like that. I used to ride the bike all day for years. I only had a bike for quite a while. I live it, man. I live it. Which is also why I'm not as afraid of dying as other people, because I know I might just die every day on the road. So, as I say every episode, this is produced under the value for value model as pioneered by John C. Dvorak and Adam Curry. Yeah, we got that. Where's the alert? No, it's the Russians.
God damn.
Where's the time the alert goes off? Oh, that's on the... Of course, it's on the microphone. A track. I'm an idiot. Right, so that should be it. And now we have all the chapters in. Oh God, sorry, I'm being Popega here. This may not be a popular opinion, but I would really like a zero all-electric bike. Well, it's kind of like, I mean, it's the complete opposite to what like I want, right? I want the smell of the fuel. I want like the Goodsey is like shaking. I just love a good V2 engine. It's just like shaking and shit. I want that. And that electric Harley is ridiculous because it would be dead quiet. And when they build it, I think it's the drivetrain. It's like something in the drivetrain that there's something engages. Is it a compressor for the cooling or something? There's something in there that was like really loud in the test bike, and normally they would have optimized that out. And I think they started doing that, and then they realized the bike would have been like completely quiet and not like a Harley at all. So they just left it. I think they actually amped that up so that it's really loud. It makes like this whirling, winding noise, which is really weird. I want to not have to pull over all the time to charge. Yeah, that's the problem, right? And unlike a car where you can just put a ton of literally an actual ton of batteries in it, on a bike that is like my bike is weighs, I think, 280 kilograms empty. No, is it even 180? It's like very, very light. Try doing that with something with batteries. Yeah, man, diesel engines. Can't complain. I love the diesel engine in my T4. They go literally for 1 million kilometers if you treat them well. Anyway, we were gonna put chapter. I'm gonna hurry up here a little bit, otherwise Jonathan will be like, "I want to play Tarkov." So now we have the chapters, and what I just do is I just copy and paste this in here. Wait. That's the chapter I'm missing. See, I'm talking too much with you. Yeah, that's the chapter missing. Yeah. I didn't put a marker here. I'm getting too distracted talking to you nice people. Did you just say I sound like a bitch? I'm a diva. Diesels are fine, but everything on them is more expensive. If you're cool with that, then that's cool. Actually, I think depends very much on the engine, right? I think with the T4, the diesel engine is just the normal one, so it's like it's cheaper than the petrol engine, because that's more specialized. Yeah, probably also depends on where you are and whatever. But like, yeah. Okay, that's feedback. That's really short. That seems plausible. Yeah. Looks good. That's the Picard speech here, right?
Sati.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, truck diesels are expensive, yeah. Fuel filters, higher oil capacity, and the crankcase more expensive parts. Well, mine is expensive anyway, so, you know. Like a T4 is like it's a Nutzfahrzeug. It's, it's kind of like a truck. It's like the European version of a truck. So it's like, it's made for people to use them professionally. So they're very expensive compared to normal consumer cars. 12 valve 5.9 liter Cummins. I have like mine's like I have like the big TDI, which is like, oh god, I can show you the T4 TDI. There's like where's the wiki? Where's the T4 wiki, right? Okay, so engines, isn't there? Actually, this probably. See, I have that one. 102 horsepower. Oh god, that doesn't actually say. Where's the fucking list with the motors? This is literally just about the about the lettering. Motorkennbuchstabe. Oh god. Wait. Motor 20. Mine's from like 2001. Do I have to look this up now? God. See, there's so many engines, this fucking thing. TDI. I don't even know which of these engines I have. This is how many fucking engines are in the fucking. Wait. You got me into rat hole here. Is there anything about like fucking motors? Oh, I think it's a 2.5 liter. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I think the ACV, that is the engine I have in my. Just look how this engine's weird. It's like really weird looking. Because it's in the front. God, this is like a racing T4. Holy crap. I love the people who are doing this shit. I've got like spoilers on the thing. We're talking a diesel here, right? This is a turbo diesel. Yeah, I was gonna say he's losing against that Charger or whatever it is. Just look at the smoke, the black smoke. You can do some serious coal rolling with this car, I can tell you. Look at that Nova. Oh god, the Corvette. I just love Corvette. Yeah, but like, you know, the thing about the efficiency of electric propulsion is yes, but it's like one of these things where people don't take certain things into account. You know, like the problem is just the batteries. Yes, it's like an iPhone, right? It's very efficient when it's new, but what happens after 2 years, and your battery is fucked, and you're like, are you replacing the whole battery in that car? Where it's like, you know, I mean, it's in a phone, yeah, but in a car, like all of those batteries, all of those cells are replacing all of that, and then you're like, how efficient is it if after like 3 years, there's like taking replacing half the motor in a petrol car every 3 years? It's just like, I think it's, you know, it's efficient in certain ways, but it's also, right? It's also not efficient in other ways. I want to see an electric car that you can, like, with just normal servicing without replacing like huge parts, you can drive for 20 years like a petrol car, right? That would, at that point we can talk about efficiency, but we're very far from that. Batteries will be even more efficient. They keep saying that. They keep saying that. I'll believe it when I see it. And then it's also like, where's the power come from? That's also the other question. If you're like, oh yeah, it's very environmentally friendly. Yeah, right. That depends entirely on where your power comes from. Anyway, let's get this podcast out. Why do I still have these tracks armed? That is dumb of me. Okay. Guys, I need to concentrate here for a little bit. Yeah, it's always 10 years away, exactly. It's like Linux on the desktop. The year of Linux on the desktop. It's going to be next year. You're listening to The Private Citizen, your podcast talking about privacy and civil rights. This is episode 74 for Wednesday, the 16th of June, 2020. Yeah, I think this works. Okay, so what we now need to do is we need for this to publish this. Which will create an MP3 for us. And while it does that, we'll prepare the teaser image. Even from a coal power plant, an electric propulsion car is comparable to the pollution of a 50 miles per gallon petrol machine. See, I don't know. I don't know. Whenever I see something like this, I'll try to look into the documentation they got that data from, and I'll never find anything specific, right? It's never like, okay, are you taking into account the energy you lose while you're transmitting it over cables, while you're storing it? Like, it's not like, it's, I don't know. I'm not into just believing that. I need to see hard evidence, and so far I could look into it a lot more than I just don't have the nerve to do that, but it's like, I'm not convinced, let me put it that way. I think also that's not even the problem. Even if that all were true, like, the actual problem is not that. The actual problem is infrastructure, right? There's so my father-in-law is now he's a pensioner now, but like when he was still working a year ago, the company he works for is a huge company, and they're like an ISP. And they're actually part of the company that is my landlord, because they also have real estate. And they are, their headquarters is in a old mining area I think in Essen. And it's like an industrial area. And they had a plan, like, I think 5 years ago. They said, okay, what we want to do is, we have lots of service technicians, right? We want to give every service technician an electric car as their work car. And then, they can charge it at home like a plug-in, right? They can charge it at home, but they don't have to, because when they're at the office, we're going to have, we have parking spaces for all the cars. We're going to have charging stations for every single one of these cars. And that's going to be our, for companies today, everything's like about, the PR is all about how we are so great for the planet, right? And to this day, they haven't got this done because they can't get the power lines required to charge, 1,000 electric cars, right? We're talking, if you want to charge that many cars, we're talking cables as big as this room that you're gonna need. And the problem is, you not only need the cables, the power needs to come from somewhere. And it's not like they're sitting anywhere. They're sitting on an industrial estate, right? There used to be a steel works and like a coal mine, and they had industrial power, and they have huge pipes going there. And they can't even get it there. Let's just imagine everybody who has a petrol car right now in Germany has an electric car. Right, that's what they said in Berlin. We want to have that in 10 years. Like, if you want to have that in 10 years, you better start laying the fucking copper pipes in the ground now. I don't think you have enough copper for this shit. It's just like, there's no plans for this. People are just, oh yeah, let's do this. It's a good idea. Yeah, how about thinking it through first? Like, the power is not magically coming out of the air. They don't need help, the power grids. We need fucking new power grids. Like, people complain about like the internet infrastructure in Germany being old, like the telephone cables. The power grid's even fucking older. The power grid's like ridiculously shit in places. You'd have to like build lots of power plants, or like you need to fucking power transfer corridors through the whole country. And whenever they want to try to build one of those, everybody complains and is all NIMBY about it. In the US, I think it's even more of a problem, because you just have much longer distances. I have no idea if they're going to do something like this in Australia or in the US. It's like where you have like places where nobody lives, and then you need to connect these like everywhere. These are usually aluminum. Yeah, well, you can use aluminum cables because that's cheaper. Because, it's just... aluminum is very cheap to make. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. My point is you need that plan first before you go and dream. Anyway, we need a teaser image, guys. Stop distracting me. I wondered that Jonathan is like very calm right now. I think that's very good. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we take this image of Unsplash, which we can use, and then we open the GIMP. Open the GIMP! Ehret das GIMP. Ehret das GIMP. Triffst du einen Hahn in der Wüste, so sollst du ihn nicht nach seinem Namen fragen. Das ist die 13,5 Leben des Captain. It's a German thing. Never mind. Downloads. Porn folder. Convert, I think. And we'll make sure we have something that's 16 by 9. Crop. Then we make this a specific size because I want these to be a specific size because of the halftone effect, which is affected obviously by the resolution. Right, which is 1200 by 675. Right. Then we close that. Then we go to this tool. What do you think of the C8 Vet? Is the C8 Vet the ugly one that doesn't look like a Corvette? Is that the new one? Yeah, it's horrendous. That's horrendous. Look, that doesn't. Yeah, I don't care. Like mid-engine Corvette. Are you dumb? Like the whole point of a Corvette is that the engine's in the front and that it has a very long bonnet. That's the whole thing. Bring out the GIMP. Yeah, look at that thing. That's ugly. Oh, you know what's the shittiest thing about this? I thought this was a joke when they showed this. Wait, where can we see this? Oh man, this is ridiculously bad. Whoever designed this needs to be shot. Where can we see this? It's not the dashboard cockpit. There was a very specific image where you could see the. Oh God, where is it? Wait, where is that? Okay. Check this shit out. Why? Why is there a gap? And why the fuck doesn't it line up? Who designed this shit? Yeah, because it's GM. Yeah, but they managed to do it right on the C. So the C7 is okay. Right? So the C7 is interesting because it's the first Corvette you can actually drive properly because it has proper electronics and fucking computers and it actually has traction control that works. All other Corvettes are shit for driving. They just look good. But I mean, if you wanna know what Corvette I would want, there's only one. There's only one. There's only the C3 Stingray. Just look at that. It's a fucking work of art. That is the most beautiful car ever made. I mean, that's just like a drivable penis. This is manliness distilled. It's such a good car. It is beautiful. Just look at that. Just look at that. 68. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? That is the C3, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. Just look at that color. That color is I love green. That's like the Bullet Mustang. 66. Oh, Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. I get. Actually, that exact Corvette. There's one. You could buy one. Close to where I live. There's a thing called the. What's it called again? Anyway, it's this thing that's a restaurant, but it's also a shop for classic cars, and it has that one in exactly this color. It's a beautiful car. I mean, just look at that. Yeah, so I like the original. How does you spell that? You know, the Steve McQueen Mustang, the green bullet Mustang. Oh my God, just look at that. Just look at that. I would literally kill for that car. That is such a beautiful car. My God, it's so nice. So I was talking about that's the Bulle, right? He has this amazing Opel Diplomat. Such a nice car. Just look at this and you know why I love this show. It's so good. I mean, the whole guy is like basically what I've modeled my style after. Wait, is there any picture with a Hawaiian shirt? He just keeps wearing Hawaiian shirts. That's where he's choosing one, I guess. That's so good. He just keeps slapping people around in the interrogation rooms as well. You can't really do that. It's like I was watching one episode recently where the guy goes, where the guy they're interrogating goes like, is he playing bad cop now? And like so his colleague, right, his partner is like this nerd, right, where that is like this guy, and he's like, yeah, you can't really say he's playing bad cop. Oh, 70s Camaro, yeah. You need that shotgun. Yes, I need that shotgun. I do. I've shot that Remington. It's a very nice shotgun. 17 rounds. Yeah, after that, there's nothing left. Once you're through with that, it's just like 17 times Magnum Buck, everything's leveled. Okay. What are we gonna use? I want something where it's still like recognizable. But okay. The passport's recognizable. I'm not happy with any of these. Let's use that. Kind of works. All right. Save file. Then we go downloads. Cut. Git. Private Citizen. Static images 2021 cover. Episode 74. Right, we have that. Now, what I have to do, what I can't forget because it's very important, is we also have to export this as a flag. In case we ever want to re-encode it, we have a lossless version. Like if I ever want to have a higher quality MP3, I'll be going off that flag. That's very important. Right, do we have everything? Let's open the show notes. It's today's date. What time is it now? It's close enough. 03, 04, 05. Oh, look, I've got a Windows update pending. Of course I have. 74, 74. Oh, yeah, okay. We need to fix this. Put that in there. Change the website version number. Right. And then we can upload it. Okay, so I'll be switching to my... Actually, let's get in the mood for Tarkov. Shit. Where did I put that? Let's get in the mood for Tarkov with a song. With the song. The best song. The only song. The song that is conquering the world. Which is Bonani by Pep. Okay, let's switch to my because I need to upload some files and I don't want to show my secrets here. The ones I don't want to show. I haven't renamed the file yet. That's disappointing.
Hello there, good day to you, folks,
Requiring more meat
and
for
welcome
the Arby's.
to the Teabag Sermon.
What's up, Peps?
Teabag Sermon.
There. My name is actually Captain Podjob, and
No,
I'll
this
be
is
your
Russian
Teabag
hard
Supreme
the
this
new
afternoon.
Tarkov song. Everybody
I
is going
like to
mad for.
think about bananas every night of the week. I like to think about Bonani also on the weekends. Hit me with that motherfucking tambourine. Ooh, yeah, oh banana. Do you like to eat Bonani? Bonani, eat Bonani with me. And we like to eat Bonani on the most of the time.
I mean, I play hard
if
bass,
you
but
like
I
to
can
eat
say
Bonani,
for some Russian.
you say Bonani with me. Say Bonani, everyone, if you like Bonanis. Bonani, hey, we like Bonani. Yeah, this is some Bonana. Bonana, Bonani, Bonana. Yeah, you spell that Bonani with a K and an E and a T and an A-M-I-N-E. Oh, that's Bonani. And it's for you and me. Bonani, and you spell it, yes, H-E-A-R-O-I-N-E and C-O-C-A-I-N-E as well too. And also M-A-O-R-I-J-U-A-N-A. That's also Bonani. Thank you. That was my song.
Amazing encore, bravo.
That was fantastic.
It was about Bonani, and there will be no encores.
Guys, I don't think he knows how to spell.
No, that's Bonani.
So good. So good. Anyway, I'm nearly there. Sorry, I need to fucking... wait. What am I doing here? Oh, God. We want to do some scary things on the server that we don't want to show the public. But they're not scary. They're just... I don't know. I don't want you to see which port I'm... and things like that. It's security by obscurity. Right. So now we can figure out how big this file is. And we can put that here. Right. Yes, we can do that. And then we can move this file to the right folder. And we can show it. And then I think we're back. We're back. And this page should now show this file. Just like, y'all, we'll just give him water. It's cheaper. Yeah, that was today's episode. Okay, so now we check this file again. What we just uploaded. See that this is fine. So take the length. Okay. See if it's encoded it to the end. See if the show notes are good. Let's say this is good. Save this. Alright. Now we push this to GitHub. Which means the episodes. Oh god, this is annoying me. Let's do it this way. Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's do it live. And now we just have to give Netlify enough time. Okay. In the meantime, I can change my audio setup back to this, and then I can kill this motherfucker, and you hopefully can still hear me. Yes, you can still hear me. Can you hear audio? Wait. Yeah. Okay, that works. Bonani. Every night of the week. Right, come on, internet. Alright, we can go to some... What music are we going to play? Oh, I can switch this already to Tarkov. Alright. Yep. And then we can... We're gonna go with Synthwave. Right. Come on. Here we go. That's live. What emoji is fitting on this? There you go. Hello, Darnath. Oh, you don't have to be quiet. Oh, thanks for prompting me. Wait. Need to switch my scene for a second. I'll turn the alerts back on. Damn it. No, I don't have. I can't go back to the alert. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Wait. There we go. Need to hack this a little bit. Yeah, podcast is done. I'm gonna do some Tarkov with Jonathan in a bit. Actually, I'm gonna go to break screen now and change my Twitch description and everything, and then have another, freshen myself up a little bit, and then I call Jonathan. I think he's ready. He's waiting in the wings. So see you all in a bit. Please hang in there. Let's see if this break screen is fixed now.